Good morning, everybody. Today is November 4th, 2020. We had the election last night. We don't know who won. And that's what this video is about. It doesn't matter who wins. Okay, the reason it doesn't matter who wins the election is because, I'm going to talk a little bit of politics today and a little bit of philosophy. And I've earned the right. I've never once brought up politics in my videos. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background and you know what my beliefs are. Okay, before I get into the political side of things and I let you know where I stand and who I voted for, which, you know, maybe some of you may find that interesting or intriguing, I want to talk about my philosophical beliefs. And I have always had these beliefs from a very young age. There's a book that I read. It's called The Four Agreements. And I'm a big believer in you control your own destiny. You control how you feel physically, mentally. You control your happiness. I'll put a link to this book in the description of the video because this is the book, and my mom bought this for me. I think I was 21 years old, right around the time that I bought my first house. And this book changed the way that I thought and saw things and the way that I felt about things. It gave me a paradigm shift. Okay, I realized that not everybody is gonna feel this way, but this is the way I feel. This is what I believe. This is my truth. This is what I've always practiced, and I believe this is one of the two reasons why I am successful with whatever I do. So it doesn't matter who becomes president. When we started our home building company, this was back in 2010. And I know every election, you know, everybody thinks that it's and it is, and this was and still is a super important election. So I'm not saying that that's not the case. But what I'm telling you is that it doesn't matter who the president is. It doesn't matter. It's not going to stop you from doing what you need to do. It's not going to stop me. It's never stopped me from being successful. The way that I think about it is that it doesn't matter who's president. It's not going to affect my life. Now, yes, it is going to affect certain things. There could be things in the future in my children's lives that are affected because of it. But this is just my tunnel vision thinking, and this is what I need to think and focus on to be successful and not let something like an election bring you down. And I feel great talking about this right now because from what I've seen, it's still undecided. So it could go either way. So if you're somebody who is super invested into this, and I was too, this is fun for me. This is like the Super Bowl, except way better because it's every 4 years. And your candidate is like your team. And last night, I stayed up late. I had some cocktails. This was like my Super Bowl of, the last 4 years. And the reason that I see it this way, that it doesn't matter who the president is, it's not going to affect my life, and meaning that, whether it's Biden or Trump, whether it's Democrat or Republican that becomes president. For example, I'm finishing my basement right now. Very lightly, nothing crazy, but just making a big finished area down there for our girls to have, we can put all their junk down there and they can have room to roam down there. I'm not going to stop finishing my basement, no matter who wins. I'm not going to stop selling homes, no matter who wins. We're not going to stop getting real estate listings, no matter who wins. And yes, I understand that depending on who gets in, it could change the economy. There could be a slowdown. In my mind, we're already at that 10-year point. Beyond that 10-year point of a great housing market. And really, I thought that, back in March when all of the coronavirus word was out and people were unsure about that, I thought that was going to be the thing that brought our housing trend back down. I'm mentally prepared for that. So again, if things slow down because of a certain candidate that gets in, that's not going to change my world. I'm still going to go home and I'm going to work on our greenhouse. I got some things we're going to do. It's 70 degrees out today. I'm going to go home. I'm going to do those things outside that I want to do. So what I'm saying is, I'm not going to let this get to me and doom and gloom and, oh my God, he got in or he got in. Everything is over now. No, I'm going to go about living my life. I'm going to go about being successful. I'm going to work just as hard as I've always worked. I'm going to continue to do the things that have brought me sales throughout the years. So we started our company in 2010. Before we had a Republican president in office for the last 4 years, we had a Democratic president in office for the 8 years prior to that. We did amazing throughout this whole for the last 12 years. Things have been great during the Democratic president and during the Republican president. Now, yes, I do lean one way more than another, as far as, beliefs and things like that. But as far as my success, I'm not going to let who gets into the office dictate how successful I can be, and you shouldn't either. So that's what I'm talking about here with the philosophical part of this, is that it doesn't matter who the president is. It doesn't matter who controls the House, who controls the Senate. It doesn't matter who's on the Supreme Court. You are going to be successful if you decide you're going to be successful and you go out there and you bust your butt and you do all of the things that you need to do to be successful. It doesn't matter what's going on over here, because okay, yes, depending on who gets in, maybe taxes go up or down a little bit. There's not a huge drastic effect on me personally, at least not that I've ever noticed. And maybe it's because I'm naive and I just don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. And you know what? It suited me well. In fact, I will admit that. I don't pay attention to the small things. I only go out to my mailbox once every 3 weeks. Once the mailbox is to the point where it's about to explode and you can't even close the door on it, that's when I go get the mail. And you know what? I've been like that for the last 12 years, 13 years, 14, 15 years of my life. I've never had any, bad things happen because of that. So that's just the way that I think. Don't sweat the small things. Really. I mean, the most important things in your life are your beliefs, your family, your career, and none of those things need to be affected by who gets into office. So that's my spiel on how I think, how I see things, and why I really don't care who the president is. Okay, I realize that may have angered some people depending on which way you're going, and I do understand the ramifications of one candidate getting in over another. I completely understand. I am in tune with everything that's happening politically, but I don't let it take over my life. For me, it's more interesting and entertainment than it is anything else. And again, I don't want to anger people, because I understand that a Republican president compared to a Democratic president, there's a lot of different beliefs there and soul core philosophies that differ there. And I understand that things will change into the future, but it's never been a big enough impact to where I even need to stop and take notice of it. And I'm not trying to just, blow people off and seem like I'm not empathetic towards certain people, because certain people may say, well, no, that's not true. Depending on who gets in or what's been happening, it's drastically changed and affected my life. And I guess I would challenge you and I would say, well, how? Is the president next to you every day controlling what you do? Is the Senate or the House or your government officials? Now, yes, they set the rules, they set the laws. We have to, abide by what the laws are, but really, you are in control of your own destiny. That is the main point about all of this. You are in control of your own destiny. And if you truly believe that and act on that, it doesn't matter what's going on in the world around you. Okay, so now I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Yes, it does matter what's going on in the world around us. And myself, I am a firm believer in God. So, I said one of the biggest out of two things that have made me successful are the way that I think? Well, the other thing is God. I attribute everything, all of my successes to God, all of my blessings, everything that he has blessed me with, everything that I am blessed with is because of God. And my faith is unshakable in God. So the bigger picture is, yes, okay, I do see that in this world, as we go on from year to year, it gets a little more evil every year. I mean, there's certain things in this world you can't deny that are just, not good. And the bigger picture is, whether you're Republican or Democrat, we're all God's children. You're my brother or sister, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. It doesn't matter what those beliefs are, because the bigger picture, it doesn't matter who the president is, because we're all God's children. Okay, so we're not solely dependent on what the president's going to do for us or what the government's going to do to us. No. Your faith in God and your drive to be successful are going to make you successful. That's what I solely believe. So everything that's going on, the presidential election, everything that's happening, to me, we're just passing through. If you're a believer in God, you believe that after you pass away, or whatever happens to you, you're going to heaven. So we're just passing by here. This is short term. I mean, if we're gonna look at our whole entire existence, a brief portion of it is spent here on earth, and the rest of it is going to be spent in heaven. So I know I've never talked about this before either. Wow, we're getting into God, we're getting into politics. I hope this doesn't rub some people the wrong way, but this is who I am, and this is what I believe. Okay, so I'm going to tell you who I voted for and what my political beliefs typically are. Now, maybe you already know or are leaning, and think that you may know, but I voted for Trump. And the reason I did that is because I despise all politicians, Republicans, Democrats, and I don't want to lump everybody all together and say, because there are good ones out there, but for the most part, politicians, they talk, especially when they want to get elected. They talk about things that people want to hear. They say things that people want to hear, and they never do them. It's always the same thing, and it's just so fake, and they live in a completely different world. Just think about this. All these politicians are there in Washington, D.C. They're at the White House. They're in their own little world, and they're trying to make these decisions to control what we do, when if we go back to what I just talked about, I control my own destiny. I don't care what you're doing in Washington, D.C. Again, yes, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. There are ramifications for everything that happens. But again, they're in their own little world. Once you become an elected official, you're doing these things that they really don't end up affecting. I mean, 99% of what the politicians do have no effect on me whatsoever. They're in their own little world. So it's like they're running to get elected, and I know they say they're doing it for the people. They're doing it for their district. And there are some that do that, but come on, let's be real. There's a whole bunch of them that are running for the Senate because they want to be a senator. And that's it. They don't care what they're doing for the people. It's a great job. It's cool to say you're a U.S. senator. They probably don't even care what they're doing for the people. I guarantee there are politicians like that, and you know it too. So that is my another way that I look at politicians. They're all the same. They all say the same thing, and it's just bull. So the reason I voted for Trump is because I've always said to myself, why can't we have a president that runs the US of A like a business? Because that's what it is. Now, again, this might rub some people the wrong way, but if you think about it, running the country is like running the biggest business that's out there. So when Trump ran for president, I didn't like the things that he says. I still don't like some of the things that he says. And I think he could have done a lot better if he would have just held his tongue a little bit more, but that's who he is. So it's not that I personally liked him, but I liked the fact that this was a businessman, and I knew that he was going to take his business sense and run the country like a business, and he did. So that's why I voted for him again, because I liked the way that I feel like what he said he was going to do. I remember the first weeks and months after he got in office, it felt like there was a camera on him at all times. He was meeting with people. He was getting deals done. Now, I know a lot of you will say, well, the unemployment rate is skyrocketing and businesses have left here. But overall, he has done things to put us economically in a better place. I don't think you can deny that our economy the last 4 years, and right now, I mean, in the housing industry, is just booming. And you can't say that that doesn't have anything to do with who the president was. I believe that it does. So that's why I voted for Trump. I want Trump to win. Yes, I'll be disappointed if he doesn't. But again, let's go back to what I talked about in the first place. I already woke up this morning and my wife feels the same way. We've got the same way of thinking, and we both said to each other, you know what, last night was great. It was fun watching the results, but I don't care anymore. I really don't. So, I mean, based upon what's going on here, it seems like we may not even know for days, weeks, it could be months. And it's like every day that goes by, every hour that goes by, I'm less interested in it. I'm not going to stand by the radio or stand by the TV and what's going to happen now. I'm going to go on living my life. I woke up this morning and I'm in a great mood because I've got people that I'm working with. I've got building contracts that I need to get to the bank. I've got blueprints that need to be drawn. So I'm going to work and I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to continue to do my thing, and I'm going to have the best year. I'm going to cap off one of the best years that I've had in a few years. And next year is going to be even better. I don't know who's going to be in office. And again, it doesn't matter. So I understand that not everybody is feeling the same way that I do politically. You may be Democrat, you may be Republican, you may feel that this election is going to make or break something that you're doing, and I empathize with all of that. And again, let's go back to the bigger picture. You are my brother or sister, whether you are a Democrat, whether you're an independent, whether you're a Republican. I don't care what you believe. To me, it does not define a person for what they believe. We're all God's children, and I hope that you feel the same way about me as well. I truly do believe that. I just wanted to share what I was feeling this morning, and I'm pumped. I'm hyped about today. I'm hyped about the future, and I can honestly say, I mean, normally it would be like, oh my gosh, we lost, our side lost, or our side won, and that would determine, maybe that is something that determines how great you're going to be feeling today. But I'm here to tell you that we don't know who the president is. We have no idea at this point whatsoever, and I'm still pumped, amped, ready to go. So I can honestly say it does not have an effect on me mentally or the way that I'm going to be successful or keep on living my life. So that's what I wanted to share. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. This is the first time that I've ever just spouted off about all these things that aren't exactly pertaining to new construction or new home sales, but yet they do. The reason, and I said this in the beginning, that I've been successful in sales and with home building is because of those beliefs. I keep my eye on the prize. These little things that are happening all around me don't matter. I've got my eye on the prize, and that's all that matters, and that's all that should matter to you too if you want to be successful in this industry or any part of your life. Okay, that's going to do it. Take care. God bless. If you don't subscribe, please subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Click the little bell for notifications so you can see more great videos like this and, of course, pertaining to new home building. Okay, have a great rest of the day. Take care.